No, I'm
Let me
working on,
highlight your screen.
well, I'm working on Jimmy Butler here.
Recording in
Oh, okay.
progress.
Well, we have a little bit of time, so you could throw a fresh page on it over it, and then you could just reveal it really quickly.
No.
Like you could take it off when the camera switches off for some reason, and then you're like, you're 5 minutes in, and you could be at that stage.
Yeah, it
That
looks
looks
like I'm
beautiful.
this far. Yeah.
It always cracks me up.
I have a real hard time with pastels of, anytime you have to have a dark background, you got to build it up. So I thought, I don't want to be doing that. And then I won't get anywhere. So I'll just.
All right, everybody. I just want to let everybody know that we're, if you came here to draw, well, you're in the right place. We're going to get started in a bit. We're letting the room fill up. Tonight we're drawing the NBA Finals. So John picked out some of his favorite shots. I'm assuming from just all over, but should have a good night ahead of us. I was thinking about when I sent the email out for this, I was like, I should just tell people we're drawing like Cowboy Bebop. Just get the numbers up, be like, we're doing The Last of Us again.
Dragon Ball Z, everyone.
Yeah, we're doing Dragon. Yeah, I was like, just get our numbers up.
But the NBA doesn't rate.
Yeah, I don't think so. Somebody in the comments was like, or Xander was like, "Oh, John will be glad we're drawing athletes," and I was like, "It's just all one sport to them." It's
Yeah. I'm not very invested in the NBA.
Yeah, I read it and I was like, John doesn't care about the NBA. Like, I was like, I had to like push for this. Also, isn't the US, were you saying the US Open is now?
No, the French Open. I wanted to do the French Open, but I can do that next week.
Is the French Open going to next week?
No, it's done on Sunday.
Yeah, I guess it would have made more sense for you.
We could do a post-mortem French Open.
Post-mortem French Open. Yeah, we could. All right, I'm going to get a show started.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go, Timmy.
You got to get like a one-line joke or something that we put in.
It's not doing it, Timmy.
Oh, it's not?
You gotta stop sharing. There you go.
It happens, man.
Try it again here. There we go. Hey, everybody. I guess I'm supposed to say welcome to the Drawing Hive, like the song. Raymond Bonilla is here with me tonight drawing. Timmy's here. Thank you all for joining. As Timmy mentioned, we're going to be drawing the NBA tonight. The finals of the NBA is going on. I am not a huge NBA follower. I have been watching the finals with my son because he is. So I've seen a game and a half out of this, and I'll enjoy, great athletes, great physiques, fun to draw. The only downside about like the NBA or drawing basketball is an indoor sport, and the lighting is tough. It's very seldom can you find a great shot, a lit shot. So I did the best I could. I got a few. They have multiple light sources, but they're still pretty good. So first off tonight, we're going to be doing, like we always do, we're going to do 3 poses. The first pose is a 20-minute pose, Jimmy Butler. And second pose is Bam. And that's a great shot. The lighting works, and really fun pose. Max Strauss and Nikola Jokic. That is he's in my mind probably the best player on the floor. I think in most people's mind, he'll be the MVP one way or the other. But man, it's hard to get a good shot of him. one of the things about like an action sport like this, the contortion, people, like this guy Max has his tongue out, which can be great, and Michael proved that. But people distort their faces; they're under duress, and sometimes it's tough to, the facial expressions can be really tough. Sometimes they're great when you can get it just right. But I know the photographers really struggle with this. So our third pose, you have your choice of either doing this piece or this piece. And I think this is really interesting. What does that remind you of, Ray?
Bart Forbes.
Got it. 100%.
How so?
Well, if you have to ask,
Yeah.
then,
You
no,
get a
Bart
really-
Forbes did
Yeah.
go ahead, John.
No, you too. You go ahead.
So there's this book called The Sports Art of Bart Forbes, and that is the front cover of it. And I think it was was it the Olympics, the Dream Team, or was it just an NBA one that he had?
I would have to look, but it's a down shot like that that's just amazing. I have it across the room, but I'm not going to step over and get it.
Oh, I have the internet.
There you go. Then you can share it. But Bart Forbes, great illustrator and great iconic illustrator, but his sports illustration was just absolutely amazing. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Guess
Oh,
who?
it was Jordan.
Yeah. Guess who?
Was there some sort of basketball player? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, back to wherever we were. Am I sharing anymore, Timmy?
No, I took it away.
Okay. Well, I don't have to share anymore.
Yeah.
Post
So
your work, the hashtag Drawing Hive. Post your work in between poses so we can go through all the work at the end of the night. And then
Yeah, so you'll just post your work to Instagram, hashtag Drawing Hive, and add Visual Arts Passage in the caption. All right. And then also, obviously, ask questions throughout. You can use the Q&A. If you're in our Discord server, you can ask us there as well. But other than that, we're drawing.
John, I'm so happy you brought up Bart Forbes, man. I love his work.
I do too. And he is doing some of his best work right now. His landscape work is astounding. It's so interesting, so well composed.
Let's see. I gotta look at it. We got, you know what? We should, do you know Bart?
Yeah.
We got to get him in on like one of the talks. Studio
right.
Bridge.
I'll do it.
That would be insane.
I think he would do it with me. Bart taught with us at the academy, at the illustration academy at the beginning for about 4 years. Absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he and Jack Unruh came together every year for about 3 years.
What a combo.
Yeah. Bart was real close to my father. He followed my father at Art Center about 4 years behind him. I think my father was just leaving when he was coming into the program.
Oh, no way. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's one of those illustrators that I'm like, it's just so like his work. He's like done every single subject.
Yeah.
Like the golf stuff, the Olympic stuff,
I had a
murals and
we had a student that was showing their work in our painting class, and Joe, an excellent artist, was showing a painting she was doing of all these swans, and then the figure was dark with all these white swans around it. And I said, you got to look up this artist. And it's just so great when somebody sees like somebody that's that good that didn't know who he was. It's like,
Right.
for me, it's like, how could you not know who this was? I mean, it's easy. I mean, he's, Bart's probably 80 years old, and his
Right.
career, his illustration career he left that even, uh, probably, well, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, just working on his paintings. And I mean, he still did some sports illustration, obviously, but he's just such an amazing artist.
I think that's where I don't even know how I ended up finding out who he was. Probably the illustration annuals, I would think. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He was all over those
was he
things.
was he an illustrator in America?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah,
I would think. I mean,
maybe
he
that.
was one of the most visible working illustrators for about, quarter of a century.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I have to, because I remember finding out who he was with him and then Peter Fiore. Um,
Another really good
there's
art.
James Tennyson. Do you know James Tennyson's
Yeah,
work?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, great. I mean, just like all that stuff is so good. Um, yeah, I would love to, man. Yeah, if you do ask Bart, I would love to. I'll definitely be there in the audience. It would, yeah. It's super cool
Gives
stuff.
me good reason to call and catch up with him. I haven't spoken to him in a couple of years. Um, we've traded messages a few times, but I would like to catch up with them.
Well, I think the great thing about, like, I would really study him and actually John Rush's work quite a bit, just because of the whole. They were so great about less is more, like carrying the shape, and
Right.
so beautiful about composing their values. And you realize with sports art too, it's that the added problem of, like, how do you show a still image that still feels like it's moving?
Yeah. Action is
Yeah.
to, that's what, one of the reasons that, Bernie did that so well. I think Bart did it really well also.
Like, I remember David Gross showing me his NFL illustrations. I guess it was for like the it must have been, it was like maybe a calendar or a magazine that the NFL put together. And I guess am I making does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, it could have been for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You do a Super Bowl?
Well, he did, I don't think he did that. I don't know. I know he did, like, he said that um the art director would basically every year he would ask him and a bunch of other people. I'm sure Bernie had done it for the same. Oh, you know what? I think Bernie's that one where it's like it's at like a Dutch angle
With
and
the
everyone's
whole
at the
offensive line, like the whole line,
yeah,
that
yeah.
angle, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that thing's oh.
We're gonna have to apologize to everybody because we are the ultimate uh illustration nerds. You know that piece? Yeah, I know that piece.
You know that piece? Oh, wasn't it great? I know. It's like he's done all these other NFL pieces, but like it's the one piece. I see if I can
Exactly.
find it. But I think that was done for the same type of publication. And oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna pop it open.
Couple of other great illustrators that have done really interesting NFL stuff. Wilson McLean did some really great
Oh
stuff.
yeah, man.
Oh God,
There you go.
I just completely drew a blank. But yeah, look at that. Oh my God.
It's so good. So I think the art director would ship every illustrator a shoebox filled with this type of reference. And David said it was like, pick whatever you want and just make a painting. I'm like, man, what a gig. What a gig. But I just love this. Like, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's it's such a smart way of it's like how much is too much, and it's a
I gotta
beautiful
say though, the
sense of
photo,
design.
the framing on the original photo looks like somebody was like falling asleep.
Right.
It really bothers me.
And I'll,
Yeah.
I'll pull it on the I think it's a little cropped on my
Oh, is
there you
it?
go,
Okay.
on my screen. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Which is crazy is like I would always like, was there bleed on this? Or was just Bernie that like, I dare you to tell me to move the head down,
I dare you.
I dare you. I dare you.
who did the Super Bowl like cover art for the brochure, and it went on. They used it on the tickets. They used it on all the promotional stuff. Was Gary Kelly did it times.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and they're
I know Thomas Blackshear won, but I've never seen Gary's.
Gary did it. Gary did it more than once, and he was showing it at the Illustration Academy, and it had the Outland trophy, the Super Bowl trophy that's like real polished chrome, and
Yeah.
that was one of the things that had to be included in the illustration. And so Gary's like, when he first took the job, he was like, "Oh man, I really don't want to render that crazy trophy. It's just so, it's like real, like popsicle lit, really dramatic lighting, all these highlights and stuff." And he was showing it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, because he did it beautifully. He said, "I got to tell you, I really got excited about rendering this thing." I really dug into it. It was very fun to do. So you never know.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I saw an illustration by Thomas Blackshear in the wild today. I was at the post
What?
office. Yeah. And
Which one was it? The Rosa Parks?
no, it was a Chief Standing Bear. It's his new stamp.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I gotta run to
pretty
the post
And like
office.
they're really pushing it. Like at my store at least, like it was a big poster and everything. It was pretty cool.
It will eventually get to Buffalo, Ray. Hang on.
Yeah.
Couple months it will be there.
You know what they say, Buffalo
Yeah.
is about a year or two behind. No, but I was like, I was in line forever, and then I was
We
like,
lost all of our Buffalo artists.
but no, the woman that was helping me, I was like, I know that artist, and she was like, what? And I was like, nothing. It's just they didn't care at all. I immediately was like, why did I say that?
It's like, yeah, how much
Timmy,
you want?
I've definitely been there because Greg Manches did a bunch of like outdoors
Yeah.
pieces for it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know this illustrator, and it was like, what did you want stamps? I says, yes, I love the illustrator, and and it was like these beautiful oil paintings. It was like, no, these are stamps, these are not oil paintings. And I was like, I'll just take a book.
I know this illustrator. What's that?
Yeah, what's that? Ooh, yeah. That's something that I would love to do a stamp. I would love to do a stamp. Oh my goodness.
Me too. I've never had the opportunity. Dale's been doing some.
Really?
Uh-huh. He's the
Oh,
perfect.
I got to see Dale.
He's the perfect person for it, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Portraits, yeah. Well, he
Man,
could draw the head every so often.
Thomas Blackshear, though, this latest stamp, like, got a lot of news coverage. Pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean, CNN, stamps.com. I mean, but like CNN is cool.
All the hubs of the internet.
All where you go get your news. CNN.com.
Stamps.com. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have to see what this. So what is it, Chief Black Bear?
Are you grabbing it, or should I? I'll show it.
Yeah, yeah, you could totally show it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
'Cause otherwise I won't get any drawing in.
Yeah.
Still trying to find his Gary's Super Bowl piece. I'm really interested in seeing that.
Quite
I
cool.
remember Thomas's Super Bowl piece. I love that one.
Okay.
The hands.
They had like a massive poster of this at the post office.
Oh, whoa, look at that.
For anybody
It's like a
wondering,
little gouache piece.
yeah, for anybody wondering, Thomas Blackshear has frequently been a guest speaker at Visual Arts Passage. Teaches, he'll visit with our students pretty often, at least once a year, as a guest speaker for the mentorship programs. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I've looked at his work a couple of times.
Pretty funny. I spoke with Tom a couple of weeks ago, Timmy. I think I told you this, and I think it's become habit when I call him now. I call him and I say, "Hey, Tom, how you doing?" He goes, "Oh God, I'm so busy." And he throws that "I'm so busy" out, hoping I won't ask him to do something.
I mean, you're like,
He knows. Right?
do you guys ever do I try to, if I know I'm gonna ask somebody a favor, I try to map it out where I send them like I've done this with Jeremy Collins when we do the guest speaker. I'm like, I know I'm gonna ask him to be a guest speaker in a couple months. So I'm gonna send him like hey Jer, how are you doing this month? So I'm not stacking my requests up, right? We're buddies, so if he hears this, I don't care. But yeah, you gotta plan those favors.
Yeah, if you're gonna dupe somebody, you gotta do it with grace.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Yeah. Don't move and then ask Jeremy Collins to help you to be a guest speaker in the same year.
Yeah. Don't ask him to help you move. And then also,
Yeah.
my text right before that was like, hey man, can you pick me up from the airport?
Yeah. Hey, you got a truck, you have a truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sports art, even if you didn't like you don't like sports or you're not fond of it, there's some incredible art done for sports though. I mean, it's like I remember seeing the art of Bart Forbes at one point in time, I don't know why, was $1 one time on Amazon. Right? Oh, it was $1, brand new. And I remember seeing this, like Bart Forbes had a sports book. What is this? And it's $1. I'm like, this has got to be a scam. So I ordered it because I was like, whatever, $1. And it came in, it was a brand new book. And so I remember I was teaching at a university at the time. And I told all my students, because I brought in this book, he's like, you got to see this book. It's Bart Forbes. And they were like, where can we find it? I was like, it's on Amazon. It was like, oh, it looks pretty pricey. I mean, for college kids, because the original price was on there. I don't know how much it was originally, but I said, no, it's $1. Can I tell you, the entire department got it. It was like, you just saw these copies of Bart Forbes, the sports art of Bart Forbes all over the place.
Did I'm just going to guess, and I hope that you bought the Bernie Fuchs book, didn't you?
Oh yeah, the second. I mean, come on, John.
You know what that thing's worth?
No, did it go up in price?
Well, you can't find it anywhere, and
You're
so
kidding me.
There was copies of it selling for from $500 to $900.
Oh my
They didn't
goodness!
print enough of it.
Wow.
I thought that was
Is it
and
it
I don't know
sad?
if it's still that way, but
Well, is it sad that I thought to myself, yeah, no, I still wouldn't part with it for that much.
yeah, I would have bought it. And then
no, I wouldn't have sold my copy if somebody has like offered me $9,000 for it or something like that, $900. I don't know. Nah, I'll keep it.
Well, I was very happy. I bought several of them. So,
I have that one and the illustration magazine issue that was dedicated to him.
oh, cool.
I
don't
remember buying
I
that.
don't have
And
that.
you don't have that one?
I don't.
I mean, I could sell you mine, but I'm not really gonna
Yeah, now that I told you what they
look up.
were. Yeah.
Yeah.
$1,200, John.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the coolest I'm trying to think of like sports art wise, probably one of my favorite sports that get handled by illustrators. It's got to be downhill skiing
Yeah, or auto racing. Yeah.
or auto racing. Yeah.
Formula
Like,
One stuff has been great.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That stuff is
Bart
amazing.
did some awesome skiers. He has done some awesome skiers.
Sorry, Timmy, you gonna say something?
No, I wasn't about to say anything. I was just somebody in the chat was saying that there's the two museums, which I wasn't aware of this, that it's become more common for museums as a kind of a thing of camaraderie to place a little wager with the other city's museum when during like a finals or like during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they'll the winning city will they select in advance a piece that is will be on display for X number of months.
Whoa.
I guess Kansas City did this with Philadelphia for the Super Bowl, and it says they picked it, for the Super. So someone was saying that in Miami, the museum there is doing this as well. But it's like they were saying is off the record. I don't know about that, but Kansas City got a Thomas Eakins oil painting.
Oh, cool.
What?
Oh, yeah. I don't think we get to keep it. I think it's on display. That would be pretty wild if museum directors just all of a sudden became gamblers.
Yeah.
There's just one museum director that's just, and it would be the Philadelphia museum director is just we're gonna win it back.
Yeah, I'll win it back. Don't worry. I'll win it
This
back.
is my
Oh
year.
my God.
This is my year.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
And
funny.
Eakins. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I think it's just a display. Yeah. I had not heard about that though. Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, I knew that mayors did that, but I had no idea curators were doing that. I like that even better.
Yeah. I'll give you you have to eat a cheesesteak or something like that.
Yeah, you got to
I'm
jump.
talking
You got to
about
jump in the
Eakins.
fountain or the river or something like that. If we win, that's always been going on. But that's really awesome.
Yeah, and then I was getting wrapped up in biggest sports wagers of all time. So you guys were talking about stuff. I was just going down an internet rabbit hole.
John and I are talking about relevant topics, and
I'm just
Timmy's
biggest
on,
bet ever
on DraftKings.
Yeah. No.
What was wasn't there a guy from Houston this year that was betting on the Cowboys? It's he bet on the World Series and won a bunch of money on the World Series. Then he bet on the Cowboys in the playoffs and lost it all.
I don't know. I do know the guy in Houston, what's his name? The Mattress King of Houston, or the furniture store guy.
Yeah.
He does it seems like every city has a furniture store.
Maybe that's the guy. I don't know.
Well, no, but it's a brilliant, because I feel like every city has a furniture store king or queen. and
for sure.
Right? Okay, so
for sure.
And then
people need things in their homes.
Yeah, and then they have some weird sales thing where they're we bet $2 million that the Chiefs are going to win. And if they win, everybody at the store gets, 75% off.
Yeah.
Right. Or like,
Yeah.
so you buy the furniture. I remember it. You buy the furniture knowing that if the Chiefs win, you get your money back. You like win the couch.
Whoa.
Or you get like a massive discount because the city, so it's like it's part of like a market, like, and the guy in Houston that did it is just, I guess he's just a massive gambler. And so that was the way it worked. So it's part of it's a genius sales plan. Like John, I have an idea actually.
Tuition.
Yeah. We're just gonna start placing massive bets. But ours will be like the US Open.
That's funny.
Students, all of a sudden VAP students will be like following sports really closely. Yeah.
What's the spread?
Yeah, I mean, do you know how much you have to be into gambling to figure out how to weave it into your marketing plan?
Can you imagine now you walk in, you're on the board of the museum and you're like, hey Bob, where's the Eakins? I noticed it was on the not on the floor.
Yeah, Bob, this has gotten out of control.
Do you have anything to put up? Any collateral to put up
Oh
against
man,
this bet?
you know
I
what?
can hear it now.
Though? You know what? I think that this should be part of the bet. Is that first of all, obviously, they said that the Kansas City people at the Nelson got to select the piece. I think part of the requirement should be the piece that you take. Either one of two things. It should have to remain empty, like an empty space on the wall, right? It has to be a constant reminder that it's gone.
Yeah, with a picture, an explanation of what happened, why it's gone.
Or I was going to say,
Right.
John, yeah. Or I was going to say, or the winning city gets to decide what to replace it with.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
The
Yeah,
what?
it'd be like I said that'd be amazing. It's like the Isabella Stewart Gardner thing. Do you know about that, Timmy?
No, what is that?
Oh, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston had is this like, it's amazing. It's a museum, crazy collection, but that was it had like this famous, super famous. Well, it has a ton of the John Singer Sargent painting El Jaleo, which is the flamingo dancers.
Yeah.
That's housed in Isabella Stewart Gardner. Well, one year there was this. Timmy, you should look this up because this is like amazing, like a crazy story. Somebody broke in and stole one of this Rembrandt that was there forever. It was like a super famous Rembrandt. And the thing about Isabella Stewart Gardner was that she was very particular about how her art collection was to be displayed, so much so that in her will she left explicit instructions that nothing be changed, nothing.
Wow.
Even down to like how it's presented and everything, and the arrangement and the lighting. Right. And so when this thing got stolen, there was a huge, controversy in terms of like, okay, it's stolen. What do we do? And they were the people who were taking care of the stewards of the museum were like so worried about breaking the will that they just left it there blank. And so they left I guess it got cut out right out of the frame, I think. So there's just an empty frame there.
Yeah, I
years
remember
and with an
that was a Boston theft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that they just cut them out of the frames. I've read about that.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And like the guard was asleep
Yep.
and like
Yeah.
all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's Yeah, the guard was asleep. I think I've talked about that before. If your heist involves the guard being asleep, like it's a bad heist, right? like if it's
If it's
all,
dependent on the guard being
yeah,
asleep.
if it is dependent on the
Or,
guard
or
being asleep, you'd be like, this isn't gonna work.
or if you're a guard, right, who's clearly in on it, come up with a bet, and you come up your excuse as to why you didn't see it or how did you let this happen was I fell asleep.
Yeah,
Chances are you're going to be seeing some jail time, and
yeah.
people aren't going to believe you.
Oh yeah. I mean, have you guys ever gotten
Mhm.
caught like sleeping at a job? It's catching so it's the funniest thing because people, you immediately, when you wake up, you immediately try to act like you're working. It's
I don't think I've
pathetic.
ever done.
I haven't fallen asleep in class yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, John, you shouldn't be. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I'm talking about like I was I worked in it was called I worked at my college in physical plant. I was basically a janitor. Fell asleep as a janitor. You get caught, you immediately, you trying to find a broom or something as fast as possible. But like they saw you asleep. It's just pathetic. It's yeah, you're caught.
Yeah, nothing to do.
Yeah.
I would assume we're done with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is the end of the first post, so we're moving on to post two. We went a little long on this one, so post two might be a little tighter. Moving on. So post your work to Instagram, hashtag Drawing Hive and add Visual Arts Passage. Post it now. Don't wait. Don't wait till the end.
I got a long ways to go.
John, you know what another sport that I've always wanted to illustrate? Boxing. That's another one that's got some great, like that Forbes
Yeah, the
Bart's Marvin the Hagler.
Hagler Hearns, right? He covered.
Hearns. Oh man.
He covered. Well, he did Leonard, he did Hagler, he did Hearns, he did all those guys. He was
It's
great.
amazing. You know, it's interesting too that you had, you know, nowadays when people cover sports, it's like 100% photography. I mean, for the most part, unless it's like an article about, you know, some broader, you know, some more complicated issue, and you have to explain it. But like in back in the day, it was like there was almost like a documentary style of covering these things, and they would, yeah, like a journalistic visual, you know, like it would be, you know, the person would be on assignment and
Robert Weaver.
Yeah, Weavers and the
The
oh my
early
goodness, who was the
Weavers and Robert Cunningham.
yeah
He was
who was the Sports Illustrated art director? I'm
Richard
blanking on his
Gangle.
name.
Richard Gangle.
Gangle, yeah. Love that. I would have loved to have worked for that guy. The stuff that your dad did for the like the bull riding.
Yeah, he went to, they sent him to Mexico to cover bull riding. They sent him all around Oklahoma and Texas to cover the rodeo. Really fun stuff that he cherished. He loved that opportunity to do those things.
Can you imagine that? I remember reading a story of Marshall Arisman saying that Richard Gangle called him up and said, I want you to cover the next game tonight. We're sending over some press passes for the locker room. And he's like, I don't know anything about basketball. And Gangle was like, it's because you don't know anything about basketball that I want you to be out there because you might come up with something interesting. And I'm like, wow, that's
good art direction.
That's good art direction and a different time. I mean,
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, Gangle was a friend of my father's, and he lived real close to us. He lived in Weston.
Really?
Yeah. And they used to play tennis together all the time. So he was at our house quite a bit. And
Wow.
my dad made the deal with him. He said, if I'll let you play on my tennis court, if you give me seats to the US Open every year. So I was the benefactor of my dad's trade. I used to go with my father and sit in the US Open, sit in the box seat, the Sports Illustrated seats, which was like
Whoa.
right on the court. Did it for like 5 years. It was incredible.
Wow.
Saw some iconic,
Wow.
saw Borg Connors. I mean, I saw all kinds of iconic tennis matches.
Jeez.
Yeah, McEnroe.
Were there still illustrators like covering those events at that time?
Um, that was kind of right at the end of it. It was mostly photography. Photography had really taken over. A couple of the writers also, were Curry Kirkpatrick, who covered college basketball also. But Curry lived close by, and he would play tennis with him.
Wow.
I can't work on this thing any longer. I kind of pushed it too far. I don't want to sit there and redraw it all. But I'm tempted.
It's looking beautiful.
Oh, it's a mess right now. I just wiped it all down.
I
Kind of have to redraw it now.
Yeah, I love the idea that you're able to kind of soften that and unify everything. That has a really nice look to it.
Well, it works sometimes, not working right now.
I gotta say, John, like you're so I still want to talk about this. Your mixed media video for the on-demand course is so great. And I hope people have checked it out because it's a really fun way to work. And I'm already implementing some of that stuff in my own work.
Oh, thanks for saying so. I'm laughing. I was about to say it's not for everybody. Ray, you wouldn't get this advertisement. There's an advertisement, all the states, they do like advertisement for tourism. That's Nebraska's catch line. It's not for everybody.
Oh, really?
It makes me laugh every time I hear it.
I used to belong to a bank that I left because of their marketing, and it was the least confident bank. It was unbelievable that this was what their slogan was. It was, it was man, what was the name of the bank? Because they changed it to a different name. Anyways, the slogan was, "We aren't the bank for everyone, but we might be the bank for you."
Oh my
It
goodness.
was it was just like, no, you're not.
I mean, the cadence sounds really nice, but the copy needs some work.
It does. The cadence, you're right. It does sound like a robot learning the cadence of an ad slogan, but not knowing what to say. Yeah. My friend said it sounds like somebody asking a person on a date, but doesn't have any confidence in themselves. And being like, would you ever want to go get a bite? I mean, we don't have to. I mean, it's okay if we don't.
Doesn't really mean anything to me, but if you want.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. It doesn't really.
Yeah, honestly, you probably don't want to. Yeah.
Well, you'd want to get this on-demand course, though.
Yeah, I'll drop a link to it.
That is not our that's not Visual Arts Passage slogan.
It's not for everybody.
So
Oh, boy.
So I was going to ask you, do you varnish those paintings after?
Yeah. You
Okay.
use, yeah, I use Gamar spray varnish to put on top of them. And the Gamar is, it just has to be dry to the touch, and then you can spray them.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to sit for months.
Right. And so and it's you are you using the spray so that you don't upset the oil pastel that's been on there, or is
Yeah,
that kind of
man, I've
solidified?
times that I thought that it was like really dry, and it was really dry to the touch. And then I
Yeah.
took a brush and tried to, brush on varnish, Gamar actually. And then all of a sudden you hit a spot and it just like streaks the paint all the way across it.
Oh,
That happened to me a
that's the
couple
worst
of
feeling in
times.
the world.
Yeah. So I I have I've always opted for the spray now.
That's good to. I mean, I'm already. I have on order. I'm just still putting it together, but I have in my cart a whole set of Shiva oil sticks,
There you go.
paint sticks, because
The
I am.
I think you'll probably find that the pastels, the oil pastels are the most effective thing you can use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Should I because
Depends how big
I've
your
messed around with it. The one I'm working on now is a 24 by 30, and I have crayons, and I have messed around with that in oil paint. But I sprayed the crayons with this Krylon. You can't find it anymore for some reason. Krylon Quick Dry, which is designed to seal and dry out oil pastels.
Yeah. Where did you get it?
Because
You just had it for a long.
no, I got it in Blick and Amazon and Jerry's Autorama. They all had it, but then now they don't have it anymore. Ever since the pandemic hit, they stopped carrying it.
John, on the yours, Ray, you mentioned filling a cart up with art material. John, we both know an artist. I can't say it because he told me never to repeat it, but we both know an artist who was with a very prominent celebrity who's also really into drawing and painting. And he was telling me that he was like, so what do I need? And he just started telling him like all the art materials he used. And he just got this Amazon shopping cart was just full of like thousands of dollars worth of art. It just kept getting larger and larger.
Well, that
What else do I need?
that happened. My good buddy George Pratt. We were in at South by Southwest, and I told him, I said, I'll bring art supplies, don't worry. Because we were working at a booth, we had to do demos and stuff. And so we ended up going to the art supply store the day before it started. And he just started loading up this cart. And I'm like, George, what are you doing? You have like 15 panels. I mean, there's no way you can do. He goes, I might get really warm, really hot. And he goes, I want to have it if and I'm like, George, there's no way you're going to use 15 panels. And then he throws in like $2,000 of Williamsburg oil paint.
Yeah.
So student grade paint.
Yeah, right. Williamsburg, right. And so I said, no, this is a Rembrandt budget. We're not buying Williamsburg.
You can get one thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty much what it's like. You can get this or this, but not both.
I remember just you would go to the art store with George. I remember we were driving back to the Illustration Academy. This is a summer workshop we all hosted. And I was with George, and George was like, can we stop at that Quick Trip, like a little gas station? And then when we left, I was like, George, we could have just gone to Costco. Like, I was like, you got like a industrial quantity of M&Ms. It's like, yeah,
Gotta respect the craft though, you know?
yeah, gotta respect the crowd. Yeah.
He and Francis Livingston did that one year at the Artists of Craft store down in the Crossroads, Timmy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just like, come on, guys, you can't do this to me. This is insane.
Yeah. I remember being like, yeah, so I guess we're gonna break even this year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, all our money is tied up in pastels.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
pastels and oil paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't take much either.
Well, you'll get a kick out of this. Francis like he'd put out like every color on that he could think of onto his palette, and he'd squeeze the whole tube out. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? He goes, no, I use a lot of paint when I'm working. It's like,
Probably pretty wasteful, right?
oh, extremely.
Yeah. Like not necessary, right?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean,
It works for him.
that's a lot of paint. That's a
Yeah.
lot of paint. And I mean, like, and he could, you know, his paintings sell at a price point that he could, it covers
Yeah,
it.
we'll
you
back
know,
it up.
but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll back it up. But
But
no,
our
Yeah, this was Academy dollars, right?
but our
Yeah.
stipend fee didn't quite cover it.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, we
Right.
weren't getting a cut of that.
right. That's what you should have done. You know, you should have taken a
Technically-
commission off of.
Hey, has that ever been an argument for like a ownership of a painting is like the materials?
I've pulled that a couple of times that didn't go very far.
I know you've probably done it as a joke, but
Yeah, jokingly, it worked. Actually, the artist, the first time I was doing it, joking around, goes, "Yeah, no problem, you can have it." I was like, "Oh,
no, that's a pretty
cool."
good joke.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good joke.
It's a pretty effective joke.
Yeah, yeah, that's a strategy. But like legitimately, like I could see a legal argument taking. I'm not saying I have an opinion on it, but I'm just
I
saying.
wouldn't go there. Yeah,
What's that?
I
No, I'm
wouldn't
not
want-
saying
I
that.
wouldn't want to go there.
No, but I'm just you do. I don't know. My brother-
Listen,
I can see
am-
my
I
brother.
am-
I can see my brother, the attorney, being like, "You're telling me I gave you $500 worth of oils, and you know, like, I guess it'd be like if you stole a bunch of house paint, and then I was like, yeah, now I own your house."
so basically that is why you sent everyone the timers, because if I use them in a
Technically,
creation
I
of any
own you.
artwork,
No, I own your
technically you
time
own.
now.
You were on our time.
Yeah, I own your time now.
Right.
That's what the timer is. It's much more. No, I don't know. Like Cassandra, I mean, I mention that because like Cassandra sent me a follow-up on the parody law with the Jack Daniels bottle and the dog toy. And like the Supreme Court finally weighed in on it. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I'll bring that up for some art news in a minute. But like, I don't know. You read that and you're like, well, eventually this gets to like, you know, the argument of ownership or something gets to a courtroom, and you're like, it's a bunch of people who don't know. I mean, like, I thought it was interesting, you know, the Supreme Court even weighed in on the Andy Warhol thing, and like a lot of the people like arguing over it were like, I didn't go to art school. Like, this is really complicated. Like, all I can talk about is like the logic of it. I can't debate art, right? It's kind of there were a few notes like that were pretty self-aware of it. But yeah, I don't know. That was interesting.
Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's all, I mean, yeah, even like I'm interested to see like, I guess like sports art too, right? So like they would have paid for all the rights that you would like if, let's say, Sports Illustrated or like the Olympics, for instance, right?
Mhm.
or Bernie's NFL stuff or his PGA stuff.
Yeah.
So can he sell the original? Could he have sold the originals of those?
A lot of them, he got the originals back,
So is it
but he's so, but,
is it
and you know, he was very aware of it. Stuff for Sports Illustrated, he got it all back.
right?
You know, for the PGA, they may have, you know, because there's clubs involved. I mean, golf clubs, resorts, that type of thing involved in it. I was just in Hilton Head this last in January, and I saw a bunch of Bernie's work and Kobe Whitmore's work, David Grove's work at Sea Pines Plantations, where they had bought all the originals, all golf stuff, you know.
Wow. So that stand, like, he could have sold those originals even though it was based off a photograph of that he didn't know that, like, that the rights were
Check
this,
out,
like,
yeah, but okay, but back up again. Bernie was different though. Bernie he did so much of that stuff. He shot a ton of that photography.
right.
It was a different time, right?
Yeah. Right. I was just thinking in terms of Bart's like Bart's stuff for the Olympics, right? Or that Jordan shot right there,
Yeah.
like the Jordan, like
Bart didn't
I-
shoot that.
right. And so like, yeah, I wonder what the legality is of that. Like, could he have sold that piece?
I don't know. You know, my dad did a bunch of stuff for the Olympics, and they bought the originals.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of like,
That's
yeah,
lucky.
that helps. Yeah.
This is the end of the second pose, so we're moving on to our final pose. You can choose one of the remaining two images. You can do both. This is a longer pose. We usually go for 47 minutes. Please post your work now to Instagram using hashtag Drawing Hive and at Visual Arts Passage. Post it now. Don't wait. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Ray.
No, I was just gonna, I was done saying it. I was gonna go off of like how most of I remember when David Grove was talking about the NFL artwork he did. He said, you know, I don't know anything about football, but I really felt that they were like gladiators almost, and even artists that like might not be connected to the content, kind of see the aesthetic beauty of it, and are able to take that and create something that resonates well beyond what the source photographs were like, you know, to see. And I find that like that's that's a heck of a skill to have. I mean, like when you see Chris Payne do something like just take a older like baseball piece of reference and turn it into like this amazing piece. It's like the piece itself transcends what the original source material was like, and it tells more of the story than the photo did, you know, at least in my opinion, you know, because, you know, you have a lot more emphasis on things, and that's a real art. It really is. I don't know. What do you think, John?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so much beautiful photography that's been shot around many subject matters, not just sports, but and there's been great interpretations, great illustration made from a lot of it. Again, I don't know if that's if that's considered great illustration. Well, I don't know. I think being able to bring your own voice to something is, and to take a piece of reference from the past and make it yours in some way, I think is you know, it's a really difficult and valuable skill as an illustrator.
You know, it's there was a point in time where there was a preference for photography based illustration, in the sense that like it was like take a photo and riff off of it, just like actually what we do here all the time. Like,
Right.
and how do you
Absolutely.
find a really interesting solution for it? And you know, it's definitely not a skill that you're just sort of is sort of taken for granted. I mean, because you're really thinking about it kind of on the fly as a picture maker. And you know, I don't yeah, I always wonder about that, like in terms of it's such a unique skill, because it doesn't necessarily turn, like you don't see that in other disciplines of illustration, in a sense. Like they're let's say like fantasy illustration, like you really wouldn't have that. And you do it to a certain extent, but it's not, maybe that's a bad example, but there are other trades, sections of illustration where you never, you know, you really wouldn't need that skill set. And I really think it's this beautiful improvisation that that makes this their pieces, like Bart's and Bernie's and all the sports illustrators, you know, really just like it turns that picture into a piece of art, you know, instead of like a utilitarian, you know, there's a beauty in the sports photography, but like when you turn, when they're taking and adding their spin on it, it almost, you know, it really turns it into a piece of fine art, like it that exists outside of its original intention. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Because I would, like, for instance, if somebody did a beautiful piece of this, Jimmy Butler, if Bart Forbes did a Jimmy Butler piece, I would stare at, off of this photograph, I'd probably stare at the Bart Forbes painting a lot longer than the original photograph.
Right.
I mean, no offense to the photographer. I mean, like, it's a really nice photograph. And yeah, I'm always just in awe about that, you know. That's what we do every night, you know, every week on, especially when we look at all the artwork at the end of the night. It's just really it's really a treat to see. It never gets old for me, seeing people riff off of the same photo reference, or transform a piece of photo reference into a unique piece of art. And then, like, where you really start to see it is where you see, and this is what I think make Drawing Hive so unique, is that you're seeing people working off the same reference,
Right.
and seeing what decisions they made. I think that's like so cool. But end of rant. We should get Bart Forbes on here for Drawing Hive. Nah.
I'll send you his
Hey,
number.
Bart. Right? Yeah. My name's Ray Bonilla. I'm gonna drive over. You don't know me.
Right.
It's okay if I drive over to your house and set up a studio.
I think we're gonna be friends.
You're fun. You know the young concept artist, Kellen Jett?
Oh yeah, man.
Well, Kellen, this is an interesting story. He was doing a guest speaker bit for us. And I'm looking, you know, I'm going through looking at all his work, and he's just phenomenal. And I said, Kellen, I said, I don't even know if you know who this artist is, but I get this Jack Unruh vibe from your work, the design and the way you design. And he just breaks out in laughter. And he said, John, he goes, great call. I said, you know him? He goes, we're neighbors. My parents were friends with him, and they introduced me to him, and I did summer internships in his studio.
That's wild.
Wow.
And he's like, did you know him? I said, oh yeah. And I said, he goes, oh, that makes so much sense. I know he talked about your father, and that just makes so much sense. He goes, but great call. He goes, he said, I think about his work all the time. And he taught me, as, a lot about design.
I believe that. That's
For anybody
wow,
wondering
yeah,
about
I gotta
Kellen,
see.
John, was Kellen? I know Kellen worked on the newest Ninja Turtles, but was he also involved in the Spider-Man?
I don't know.
I think it was. I think it
Pretty sure
was.
pretty sure he was. Yeah.
A lot of that team, a lot of those artists went from Spider-Man to Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
we
see.
also Afua Richardson is a guest speaker for us this weekend. And Afua, John, you were talking about her involvement in
She talked with me about this Spider-Verse, working on it, and she's going to discuss it in her presentation this Saturday to our students.
Yep, we're gonna be talking about Spidey, everybody. So
What a movie.
have you seen it yet? The second one?
No, I haven't. I'm dying. I'm dying to see it. I really am. I've seen the first one, and the first one it's like a piece of art. Not,
I would say that I
just
generally don't like animated movies, and I loved it.
right. It's like,
Loved it.
I'm a huge fan. But there's so many good artists worked on that picture. I mean, just
Yeah.
so many. Yeah. And I'm assuming so many worked on the the new one.
Yeah, we were talking about Sienkiewicz. Fu and I were today. She's, he worked on it, and she
Bill
said,
Sienkiewicz. Yeah, for anybody wondering, Bill Sienkiewicz is
like,
would you say revamped the comic industry? Yeah.
yeah, I'd say he is. Well, he and George Pratt are singly responsible. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. They had a lot to do with the painted comic cover. And they brought a lot of excitement back into it during late 80s, early 90s. But I say that
I would say it's like
right?
I would say like that was one of the first times that you had the synthesis between the comic illustrator and the traditional illustrator, like the publishing illustrator. It was like you
Right.
started to see it happen with like Neil Adams, and even John Buscema was doing like he would do storyboarding here and there, but there was never like this real true synthesis of that era of comic artists. And I'm not talking about the strips. I'm talking about like Marvel and just like the really the fast stuff, and you saw, I mean, with Sienkiewicz, you saw Bob Peak, you saw Bernie Fuchs, you saw all of these, Baron Story, all the influences, and like you mix that up with like, Daredevil. You're just like, you get this beautiful.
That's a good description. I really like how you said that. I mean, and that's what I see in Sienkiewicz. It's like, I know who his influences were, along with the comic guys. It was also that, obviously he wears, he's proud of the fact that, he really understood Peak, and he looked at their influences. I mean, he's an extremely good artist.
I think it's really interesting. I would love to ask him if he felt at the time, at least for me, and I don't wish Bill Culp could probably, I know he could speak to this, but it's I wonder how, if those illustrators or those comics guys like were before that, were really felt that like comic book work, or comic book work itself was viewed as less than something like magazine illustration, because of just, I mean, they weren't paid a ton at a certain point. Like in the 90s, it was late 80s, 90s, it was a different story because of residuals and all of that stuff. But
There's definitely jealousy there.
Yeah.
But I think that, I mean, gosh, I mean, look at how Gary Kelly, talks about comic artists, he just absolutely loves them. And I think,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was just more so talking about how like Bill Sienkiewicz and George and the list goes on. I mean, with all of these people like Kent Williams and when they were coming out, like the stuff that he was doing, the stuff that like when Sandman came out, like that stuff has such a fine art,
right.
like heavy illustration bent to it that it wasn't a house style anymore. It was like
It
and
was
for those of you, yeah, it was personal. Yeah, and you really saw the artist's voice in there, and that's like, I think it really just sent the industry into just this incredible golden period.
Well, I mean, George was looking at everybody, but he was looking at, as he grew up looking at comic art, but that led him to, Topi. It led him to, he was a huge Rembrandt junkie,
Right.
and all the fine artists. I mean, he just has a really great understanding of art history, and he's looked at everybody, and
Right.
all of it's an influence, and again, it's like you were saying, it was just a really interesting time for comics because all of that stuff. And again, I shouldn't even be talking about it. I'm not that well versed at it, but I know George and Bill, and I've talked a lot of art with them.
Yeah.
I
Welcome
just
to Drawing Hive, everyone, a comics podcast. I'm your co-host, Ray Burnett, with my main host, John English.
Yeah, not
And
me.
On that note, let's talk about some stuff that we are complete experts at. Timmy, you want to take it away?
Yeah, give me a second. 1 second.
Dude, I thought you were on it.
I'm working on it. No, we've got action news. The most exciting thing about action news is I lost the old graphic, so we got a new one. Just, just like old 1970s news graphics. Yeah, no, let me
It's a rebrand,
new brand,
fresh.
right? Yeah, here we go.
It's new Coke.
New Coke. All right. First off, in action news, one thing I will say is we are still enrolling for the summer semester. If you're thinking about it, you missed the super early bird, but you still got early bird. So it's the same discount code, Artsy. You save $100 on any of the mentorships. You can learn from somebody like, well, Ray, John, you guys are co-teaching this next semester in the fine arts program. We have an illustration program, character design. A lot of the artists we've talked about tonight are guest speakers and teachers with us. It's a really incredible program. So if you are considering any of this as a career, that's what we are all about. We kit you out with the tool belt and the path, the compass you need to take those skills, build a career out of it. So,
Hey, Timmy, reel off the guest speakers.
oh man, we've got Carlo Ortiz, Wesley Burt, Jeremy Collins. God, it's the list is deep this semester. Zoe
Frank.
Yeah, it's incredible. We've got Iris Compiette as well. So, and Drew Tucker. Wow, on the spot. Remembered them all. They're all incredible. Jeremy Collins is like an adventurer, climber, muralist, painter. I made a short film with him years ago, but he's done some amazing stuff. He's done covers for like Nat Geo. He has if you go to any national like state park, you will see his company Meridian line, which he makes t-shirts that are for sale at basically every gift shop. And also his hand-drawn maps, which are just his hand-drawn maps they're amazing.
It's my favorite thing he does. They're really, I mean, they're just pieces of art. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. And then Wesley Burt and Carl Ortiz are both just like powerhouse concept artists. They've worked on everything. I feel like I could just say all of the major films that came out last year, and they've probably done them.
Doctor Strange, Black Panther,
Yeah, like
Transformers.
their fingerprints are on everything. Iris Compiet is just like, she's an incredible fantasy artist, has worked on a ton of really cool stuff. And then Drew Tucker is an amazing painter and illustrator. So recommend checking it out. And if you want to get the savings, that ends next Friday. So don't wait. All right. So on to more important things.
No,
This is a follow-up news story. We covered this a while ago, and it kind of surprised me. The turnout of it kind of surprised me. The Supreme Court rules against dog toy resembling liquor bottle. So for those of you who didn't hear the original Action News story, which was just me reading a New York Times article, the Bad Spaniel is a dog toy company, and they thought they were protected under parody law, making this dog toy. Said a bunch of it was basically just like poop and pee jokes all over a dog toy. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And today, the Supreme Court, this is fresh news. This got posted like 3 hours ago. The Supreme Court ruled that it did not protect the chew toy. The First Amendment did not protect it. And they said that, even though it seemed lighthearted, it's not clear that this is not something that's put out by Jack Daniels, and it was not protected under parody law, which we were just talking, like I was mentioning this earlier. It's like, it comes down to like, what is art, and like what qualifies as parody and what makes it okay. I thought it was interesting. So apparently this is not art, according to the Supreme Court. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
Did you remember? I don't remember seeing the bottle before. Like,
Yeah.
This is like the best. This is wow. This is oh man, it's a really good parody though. Like really good.
Well,
Bad Spaniel.
I just think, yeah, I think that if you get into that, like in a courtroom debating what is art and what is not art, is like that's a tough one,
Right. Because it's just in my like, if I'm
and then
Supreme Court,
and then
I'm
I
like,
should say
gonna
it
err
not
on
only
that.
I should say not only was the debate, is it art or not, is the art parody? Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
No, well, and the safe bet is just to be like, no, you can't do it. This doesn't fall in. Like, it's not you're I think like it's one of those, it's left up to interpretation in a sense, like when it comes to art, at least, that if you're going to get into something that's not concrete like that, you might be on the, you're going to be on the losing end if you're hoping that it's going to work in your favor. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess
I just wouldn't be confident.
Yeah.
If I were Bad Spaniel and Spaniel's going in.
Oh,
in
it's
the
a big
Supreme Court
swing.
against-
It's a big swing from a company that's clearly got probably quite a bit of revenue tied to it.
right.
Yeah.
And also like probably not close, maybe near, who knows, the army of lawyers. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been told by attorneys before that, like, non-competes copyright, things like that. And I'm not saying that I know this. I very much am just regurgitating what I've been told, is that like those are not like pro business laws, and that like most like most institutions want to favor whatever is going to create like the most commerce, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Not always, but like, I don't know. It's a generalization that like a lawyer said to me after a few drinks. So, yeah, I don't know, but I thought that was interesting because I was like, I was for sure thought Bad Spaniels was going to get away with it.
Right.
So,
Because it basically would mean that like, yeah, it's pro commerce. It's like, okay.
yeah. And all the Supreme Court justices, all the quotes that I read in the article seem to favor Bad Spaniel. They're basically the big debate was, are consumers going to believe that this is a mocking brand that is parodying Jack Daniels, or are they going to believe that Jack Daniels intent, because that's where they get on the hook, is if it is an attempt to mislead people to believe it is a Jack Daniels product.
Right.
And
You see, I think that's
the
where
defense, yeah, the defense was saying, so are consumers to believe that the CEO was like, yeah, let's get a fake liquor bottle, make it look like a dog toy, and say it's full of dog urine. Like, not people aren't going to believe that was a, yeah, I don't know.
but I would believe,
Yeah.
and I'm not a lawyer, but I would believe that this would have existed in a Jack Daniels gift shop, though.
You got a point. You got a point. I agree. 100%.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, what a great idea. You should have sold this to Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels would have been all
I
over
would have
that.
bought it. Oh my God. Can you imagine something for my dog? You know, I'm allergic to dogs, and I know that it's a hit. That's a hit idea.
Yeah, apparently. Anyways,
Yeah.
John, you got big. I know you've been holding it in. Any take? Are we good?
We're good.
Next. All right. John's just like, next, please. All right. Gang members arranged return of stolen Gottfried Lindar. Am I saying that correctly, or do you know? Gottfried Lindar paintings from New Zealand gallery and secret prison deal. So all of this happened in New Zealand. This is a New Zealand painter. This is just a self-portrait. I couldn't find any of the paintings that were returned. Two paintings valued at each about $500,000 that were stolen in 2017 were returned to police through a secretive deal arranged by senior gang members in New Zealand. They were stolen from the International Art Center Gallery auction house in a smash and grab incident in April 2017, only a few days before they were to be sold. It was just like they just threw a van in reverse into the front window of the gallery and tossed the paintings in, drove off.
Rosetta style.
Yeah.
Right.
Damaging
other pieces of priceless art in the process, but the paintings.
Yeah. Detective Inspector Scott Beard said to me, this is a good news story. They don't know who did it or who stole them, but they worked with two people that were higher ups in that organization, and they arranged a third party person to deliver the paintings. Can you imagine that job? Like,
I know that's the ultimate. I know a guy.
I know a guy who could do that. I mean, I can't imagine being like, yeah, so no, you're not going to be on the hook for this. I promise.
I promise. Totally. You could trust me.
Yeah.
Even though we just met.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, work for the police.
yeah, no, that was an interesting one.
That's like the classic uh like yeah, if you return it back, don't worry, like you're totally fine. Like sort of thing. Like there's this
You're not gonna.
bar. Yeah, well, there's this bar, I used to frequent when I was in college, and I revisited it because it was like the art bar.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty wild history, but there was this one painting, and I remember seeing that piece because a friend of mine's had made it. And I was visiting the bar, and I was talking to somebody who was probably around like a couple of years younger than I am. And I was like, oh, my buddy made this painting. I was pointing it out to him, and he was like, oh, you know the story behind that painting, right? And I said, no. It's like, no, one time it was stolen, and it was like a huge thing because it was like everyone knew the painting. And I'm like, really? And he goes, oh yeah, it was it was the painting. And so they put out an ad in the newspaper, the bar, and said, we don't care, we who stole it, why. If you
Yeah.
bring it back, don't worry about it. Like, no worries. And so once the person brought it back, they found the person and banned them from the bar forever. So I'm like, well,
Did he? So they,
they
we're not gonna go after you. And then they were like, we gotcha.
yeah, we got you basically.
Well,
Yeah,
banning them
yeah,
from the
yeah.
bar was not that's not all.
Oh, they just banned
terrible.
you from the bar. That's pretty.
Yeah, they just
That's
that's
pretty
pretty
much a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
well, it was a pretty awesome bar. So
It was pretty. I mean, I have a friend who
like
said,
the flaming lips would play at that bar
"Oh wow,
randomly. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a pretty sweet bar.
But
I had a
still,
friend who
I mean, you're
said,
talking about like a felony.
Yes, no, for sure. But to like a 20 something that ended up sealing it, you might as well be put in like, isolation.
Maximum security for 10 years.
Maximum security.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like,
it's
what,
the
you
same
can't
thing.
go. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
no
the same
damage
thing,
done. Like if no damage was done, and it's
No,
returned, it's
no
like
damage was done.
it's like why drag it out? Like just ban them from the bar. I agree. I think that they made the right. I mean, somebody probably was like, okay, you think you're gonna get a lot of money out of this kid? Like, what's the end
Right.
goal? You're gonna
What's the end goal?
Yeah. I had a friend who set a fire extinguisher off when we were at school in like
No, that's a felony.
in an elevator.
That's another.
And I mean, and
Even better.
yeah, in a small space. And it was pretty wild. Nobody knew who did it. And so there was like, I mean, it was like mayhem. They're on the announcer, like they're on the speaker at school, and they're like, if whoever did it just comes forward, like you're not going to get in any trouble. And he never came forward. And he told me that a while ago. And I was like, that's wild. I would have come forward so fast. I would have been like, this is my moment.
Yeah, but Ray and Hemi, think about if that guy would have gone and stolen another painting from a different bar. And he
Right, exactly.
He didn't learn anything the first time.
You
So-
didn't learn anything the first time. That's why you got
Oh,
banned him.
I
And
guess
that's
I
why
would have
they
been
would have
like-
banned you from school.
When you get like a speeding warning, when you get a warning, do you not like drive safer? Or are you just like, I'm invincible?
They can't stop me.
They can't stop me. I got a warning.
Hey, Bill.
Hey,
Yeah.
I drive safer, by
Yeah.
the way.
So I like
Get
I
it
like
straight.
to go to another bar and just steal another painting, which there's that cafe that's next to the Comedy Cellar in New York, and that's my favorite thing. I went in and they on everything on their menus, every table, it says like, the inventor of the cappuccino, and we own a Caravaggio painting on the wall. And they've got a bunch of paintings on the wall. You don't really know which one it was. And I was like looking around, and you kind of know it's not true. Like you're looking at the space.
Oh,
and
I was gonna say the Comedy Cellar owns a Caravaggio.
Yeah, it's like,
no,
that's
no, no, no.
impressive.
It's the coffee shop next
Like,
to
oh,
the comedy cellar, right?
Oh.
And and it's like packed before show because it's like the one place you can go hang out. It's
right.
a really cool. I love it. It's a really cool coffee shop. It's wild. I mean, like, it's untouched. No one has done anything to improve it, and I love it. but but it's got all these paintings, and you're kind of looking around. It's kind of fun because they say they have a Caravaggio, and you're looking around basically knowing that it's not true, but you're like, I wonder which one they claim is the Caravaggio.
Yeah.
and I was like looking around, and the guy came to us, it was the owner was there, and I was like, is that the Caravaggio? And he was just like, yes, we own a Caravaggio. I was like, okay. Yeah. So
You didn't answer my question.
no,
but
he didn't
okay, that's
answer it.
interesting.
It's just like, sure. The Caravaggio is
Sure,
whatever.
buddy.
The Caravaggio is whatever you want it to be.
You should know which one is Caravaggio. I
Yeah.
think the answer to that question.
Yeah, they're like, we
Or
own Caravaggio, but we've just decided to grind it out at this coffee shop.
right. Or, I'm just being from one of the 5 boroughs. I probably would have responded the same way. It's like, I don't know you. I'm not telling you what it is. You could be planning a heist.
What are you with the IRS? Get out of here.
Yeah, what are you, the feds? Yeah.
Yeah. That was the
It's Caravaggio with a
that was
J
definitely the
for
attitude.
tax purposes.
Yeah, Bob Caravaggio.
I told
Bob Caravaggio.
Salacuse about it, and he goes, sure, they have it. He was like, yeah, right.
Right. Well, like probably like a long time ago when it was first opening, it was like, we need more people in here. What do you do? It's like, well, we need a thing, like instead of like all these other places have signed headshots from all the celebrities. You ever go into like, you ever notice with pizza places in New York, they all have like headshots from celebrities, great pizza. And like, they're, so what, they had to up the ante. It was like, why don't we just say we have a Caravaggio? It's like, they won't know.
Why
Our
not?
relatives slept here.
Yeah, Elvis is. Oh, that's a good one. So and so has slept here. Yeah, John,
Oh,
I actually
that's-
have a question for you because I feel like you would know about this. I watched Almost Famous a while ago, and it
goodness.
captures a time in history when there were celebrity hotels. Do you remember that, or was that real?
I don't remember that.
There were like hotels that were like for like rock stars or like touring entertainers.
There's one in San Francisco that would fit that bill. I can't remember the name of it, but it pretty much looked like that.
Yeah, what's the famous one in Hollywood where Bellucci died? I mean,
And then there's the Chelsea.
Holiday Inn. Was it?
no,
It was a joke.
it's the Hollywood something. I think I can't
Is it a La Quinta?
Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's funny. The hotels, talking about hotels, I've been thinking about this. I don't know. When I was in New York, one of the last visits I had, I went to visit the Cornwell murals at the Raleigh Hotel, I think it's called. And it's it's right next to the Museum of Modern Art, and you just go into the restaurant. They're right there, and even when it's like closed, you could just say, I want to just look at the murals, and they'll be cool with it. And so Are there any hotels? I'm thinking of like are there any hotels with like famous murals
St. Regis,
that we should tell people about? Right. The same Regis with the
Maxfield Parish,
Pipe Max
Oh.
yeah, Maxwell Parish. Pied Piper? No, it wasn't Pied
Old
Piper.
King Cole.
Oh yeah. Old King
Pied
Cole.
Piper's not there
Pied
anymore.
Piper's that was in the originally in the San Francisco, right? In the
Yeah, that was in San Francisco. But
Yeah.
it's not there anymore.
I went there. I don't
But-
know how long ago I went there with Chuck. He showed it to me. That
Yeah,
was a long time ago.
oh yeah, that
yes.
yeah.
I
We
have a
looked it up, right? They sold it or something like that.
I believe so.
They just took it
I don't
down or-
remember.
I got a good story about St. Regis. I had just really started getting a lot of work as an illustrator, and my wife and I wanted to go back. We were going back to New York for the annual show with the Society of Illustrators. And I said, okay, I'm splurging. I am staying at the St. Regis, which was
Whoa.
way outside of my budget, let's put it that way. But we were gonna make a big deal out of it. I was just thinking about this. I've been doing, in fact, I'm recording that Heindel thing tomorrow with his son, Troy, is gonna record it with me. And so he's gonna answer a lot of the questions about the dates and when things happen, all of that. But we were reminiscing. I had completely forgot about this. We brought up the St. Regis is well, I brought it up. The Troy came in, we were like 24, 25 years old. He came in and met me. I was with my wife, now wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. We couldn't afford 2 rooms, so we stayed in the same room. And I had to sleep on the couch. But I can say I stayed at the St. Regis.
You did. I'm sure it was a nice couch.
Yeah, it was a nice couch. Troy came in and met me. It was really fun.
Oh,
That's
that reminds
amazing.
me of staying at San Diego at the Comic Con and sharing a room with George Pratt, and Scott Hampton, and another person, whose name I can't remember, unfortunately.
See, that's a rite of passage right there, Bill. That's something that I would hear stories about, like people going 4, 5, 6, 14 people deep in a single hotel room.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean.
But what
putting-
year was that? That was like back when things were still affordable.
Right, but putting somebody, and I
Yeah.
won't say who, in the bathtub because they snort so loud, it wasn't me,
Yeah.
but but I remember even before that going and staying in somebody's house, and you had to like help them box up comics or something like that. They had like just imagine an entire living room filled with comic boxes, those long boxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, I had like maybe 3 or 4 boxes or something, and And,
Everybody, we're at the end of our last post. So start posting your work. We're gonna keep drawing for another 5 minutes or so. But post your work to Instagram, #DrawingHive and @VisualArtsPassage. You got 5 minutes. And we're gonna check out all the work. We're gonna look at it all. So please post it. When we were hosting the Illustration Academy in Kansas City, and I lived in the West Bottoms, and John was my landlord. And I was doing like all of the enrollment for the academy. And I lived on the first floor of like an empty warehouse, basically. And then there were tenants.
My sister's frame shop was above you.
Yeah. But I mean, it was pretty anybody in Kansas City now would be like, oh, the West Bottoms, that's a pretty hip neighborhood. It was not.
Well, tell them who lived on the top floor.
For a while, Tech 9.
Yeah.
But that was like that was
right.
because that is also very misleading, because then people would be like, oh wow, it must have been a pretty posh place. And it's like no.
Oh, it was.
wait,
Yeah.
night for Marytown and Morted night?
anyways, so like it was pretty rough. Not rough, but it had its charm. But anyways, there was a few Dan Vanderhoof, Cameron Asau. Cameron Asau works at Pixar or Leica now. Leica, I think. And then Dan Vanderhoof. Is Dan still showing at
Yeah, Evan Reynolds, he's a great painter.
Ever Reynolds? Really amazing painter. I really love his buffalo paintings. Dan Vanderhoof. But they were like in their early 20s. And I remember talking with a student, and I was like, so, you know, most students at the Illustration Academy, they get housing at Rockhurst University. And they were like, no. I actually worked something out with these guys that they said the neighborhood's the West Bottoms. They said that I could rent from them. And I was like, what was their name? And they were like, Dan. And I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. And I mean, I was the only unit that had air conditioning. And they were on the 3rd floor. In the summer, their apartments, they're like houses, like it would get like 110 in their like.
Oh my God.
It was, I remember they were like asking everybody in the building for fans, like, and then they took people in. They were like, yeah, nobody's gonna be. And I remember it was like day 1 of the academy. The person was like, do you have a room at Rockhurst? Because I think I need to pivot. Oh my God.
Hey, speaking of fans and air quality and stuff, Ray, how is it up there?
Oh, it got pretty smoky yesterday. But it was yeah, it smelled like a campfire that
Oh,
was still kind of embering for a long time. I think last week I was like, why does it smell like a campfire? And then I saw came down the stairs in my studio, and I saw like the sun hits my stairs that lead up to my studio, and I was like, man, this is way too warm for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What's going on here? And I was like, this looks like a fire. And so I was searching on the internet, and I heard about the fires up in Quebec. So pretty crazy.
yeah, and I've heard that, like, I was looking at airnow.gov, and you can look up your zip code and see your air quality. You know, New York City is sort of worse than where you're at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got it. You could tell, you could see on the map. It just basically just all like went in like a huge reverse C, just right down to DC, Philly,
Yeah,
that area. Pretty wild. Pretty
yeah.
wild, yeah.
That's like the most.
But yeah, it's
That's like the most intense "how's the weather" question, Bill.
right. Yeah. No, but it's
Let's
yeah,
end
it's all good. I
let's
mean,
end the night talking about the wildfires.
it should be good by Friday. It should be good by tomorrow. We think.
Yeah. So hey, everybody, I hope you posted now because the time is up. So I'm moving to Instagram. You're racing against the clock right now. Anybody, right? Do you have any shows you've been prepping for? Or?
Yeah, still working on my solo show for November, and I've got about 4 group shows that I'm working on that I'll be yeah. And
Bill, how did your show go? Or has it gone?
Bill, you're opening, is it tomorrow, right?
The opening's tomorrow night. There's 35 pieces in it. And
You're nice. I've seen them.
thank
Yeah,
you.
congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's hung salon style, so they're sort of all on one big wall. And yeah, so I've got my fingers crossed. A couple of them have already sold.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign. And so yeah, so I have my fingers crossed. Thank you. And and a friend of mine is working on a catalog right now
Nice.
for future, promotion and for sales and stuff like that. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Sorry.
John,
I
you have
couldn't
any
get
shows
to
coming
it.
up?
Great.
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I have no shows coming up. I was gonna do one this year, but I've been really fortunate that I've moved a lot of pieces already, so don't have enough to do a show. And right now I'm currently I got 7 commissions I'm in the middle of right now. 7 paintings.
Wow.
Yeah, so one of them is really self-induced. It's a payback for I'm bartering and paying back my my wife's family, my daughter's, I guess my in-laws. Or staying at their house and in South Carolina, and then they're in the cabinetry business, so I'm trading out some new kitchen cabinets. And then the other ones for local bank here in town. There's a whole group of them for the bank, and I'm excited about that.
All right. You got art up.
All right,
Check it out, people.
Nice.
look at that.
That's nice.
Wow.
See, I should have just done that. Boom, off the bat. Or that one. Jeez.
That's fun. Who is that?
Pete.
That's Peter,
Wow.
of course. This is cool too.
That's fun.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, cool. That
Yeah.
last one was very Weaver-like. Journalistic. Ooh, that's
Oh
cool.
yeah,
That's fun.
they tackled that one.
That's a tough one.
Nice. Nice, Darrell.
Nice Darrell. Yeah, Jimmy.
Hey, Darrell, how are you, man?
That's awesome.
Have Darrell back.
Yeah, man. Darrell's really good.
That's cool.
There you go,
Oh,
Jeff.
Angry. Oh, that's awesome, Jack.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, nice, Jackie.
Nice, Jackie. Wow, really good.
He's playing with a softball. I mean, most of those guys make that basketball look like that. Yeah. I like
Yeah, seriously, right?
It's crazy.
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool too.
There it is.
Love it.
Nice expression.
Nice.
Nice.
AJ.
Cool, AJ.
Nice.
Wow, beautiful.
Oh,
Nice. Really nice. Whoa, Gary, come on, man.
Look at that.
yeah.
Just take it easy once. Look at that.
Ooh.
Nice.
Really nice.
That's beautiful.
That's really fun.
Oh, cool. I like that one a lot.
Oh, thank
Oh
you.
man, look at that.
Yes, Sue.
Energy.
Oh,
Oh my, Timmy, you don't have to linger on this, but we got a lot of artwork,
Yeah, a lot.
cool. Oh, very nice drawing.
It's beautiful, Gary. Yeah. This is all beautiful. Nice.
Oh, Meryl. Julian. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, we don't have to linger,
Julian. Awesome.
On to the next one.
Heat, right?
That's the problem. Timmy like gets to the good ones and just hangs there. And I used to just like flip through those really quick. Like it didn't happen.
Cut the time down.
You guys didn't see that, did you?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Look at that.
That's
Great
cool.
perspective.
Sounds like hands.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
drawing.
Want to say I love how Gary and Julian's pieces were so good that the bots got to them first. They're already seeing some bot posts,
Send this pic to the art factory.
Yeah. Nice.
Right.
Nice, Ocean.
It says hardest pose so far.
Please put me out of my misery. It says. Whoa, Jeff. That's what I'm
Cool.
talking
I
about.
was gonna ask, like, how many drawings do we think Jeff have done? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, seriously, right? Look at
Nice.
that, Nicole. Oh,
Huh. Oh, that's cool.
oh,
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
there you go.
Nice graphic quality.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's really
great.
nice.
That's sweet. That kind of
Nice.
like the broadness of some of those players. I remember like seeing like Dwight Howard at like a free throw, and you're just like, how are people that wide? Just like,
Yeah, Alonzo Mourning was like that for me. I remember seeing
yeah,
him
I was just like, what?
like a condor.
That's fun.
Nice.
Last one was nice too.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice, AJ.
Oh, see,
Oh, that's cool.
nice,
Okay.
nice.
That's fun too.
Cool.
Take it, Jeff. Whoa, with the text, with the type treatment there.
Good.
Look at that.
Jimmy Butler.
Nice.
Oh, that's a great drawing.
Yeah, Leslie. Nice.
Love it.
That's great too.
That's
Wow.
nice.
I'm just glad nobody
Look
has
at
yet
that. Look at
said
that one.
I love that.
the most common thing, and I appreciate people not saying it, is it's sports ball night. It's I'm waiting for somebody. When people do that, I'm like, come on, just be part of it. Don't act like you're above this. I
had
love
no
it.
idea. That is hilarious.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, we got to lean into it, Timmy. Next
Yeah.
time. Oh, look at that one. Jeez.
Very
That's
nice.
Nice.
I'll be like, you know how many graphic novel TV shows we've drawn?
Welcome to Sports Ball Night on Dry Knob.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Del Stefanos.
It's great.
Nice.
Cool. Because
There
Jeff's
you
like,
go.
does Jeff like have a team of people that he like art directs?
I was gonna
Yeah, I'm
say.
pretty sure Jeff's running a studio.
Like the Warhol factory.
Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
no,
Look
not
at-
like that, not like that. This
Look at
is
that
what
one.
we want.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I like it.
Love it.
Wow, nice, Randy. Look at that.
Cool.
Wow.
Ooh. Nice ball.
Wow, nice. Talking about great sports illustration. Nate has some incredible stuff too. Oh, we're at the end.
Good.
Yeah, that's the end. That was awesome.
Nice.
everybody. Thank you all. Just a reminder, the summer semester starts July 15th, but early bird ends on Friday. So next Friday. So you got one last week to save $100. Discount code ARTSY. If you're looking at fine arts, illustration, character design, go to the website, check it out. You can look at all the teachers, all the guest speakers we've got lined up. It's going to be a good one. So other than that, everybody have a great night. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for dropping
Thanks,
in.
everyone.
Ray, thanks for being here, drawing with me. And it was a very, very fun night.
All right. Bye.
Thanks,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody. Bye.
Record.